Hey everyone, Tony here, aka One Big Boss, and as you can tell by the title of the video that you clicked on, we are talking Resident Evil 2. More specifically, the Residents of Evil special 20th anniversary of Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 came onto the scene in January of 1998. While the game did undergo some changes that many fans still wish to see released, it has been able to cement itself as some consider the best game in the entire series. Which I can understand, despite it's not my personal favorite title, but I can understand why a lot of people think this. We kind of owe a lot to Resident Evil 2. While Resident Evil 1 was in a few gaming magazines back in the day, it never reached the critical acclaim that 2 did due to its limited advertisement. But Resident Evil 2, it came right out of the box, exploded everywhere in '98, and I had a front row seat to this incredible rise for this game. Again, I just couldn't believe how awesome this game was. Now, I had played the original at launch. I had actually gotten it day one when it was in the stores, but when 2 happened, 2 was just an amazing deal for everybody. I can remember this game literally not being on the shelves to rent anywhere. I was able to get a copy of it and everything, but to own, but man, when it came to this, like to rent it, that thing was never in store. They had like at least 2 to 3 of those on the shelves at Blockbuster and other video stores, like small mom and pop video rental places, you know? Resident Evil 2 takes what worked in the original Resident Evil, released 2 years prior, and improves on it slightly. It didn't really need to improve on greatness because 1 was really good, but 2 kind of took it another step further. Many people never played the original Resident Evil 1 back on the PS1 or the Sega Saturn. But when 2 came out, everybody was getting their hands on it, and it was a big difference from the original upon first popping in that disc and playing it. What was so different, you may ask? Zombies. Zombies, zombies, zombies everywhere. This game literally was like its commercials. There were zombies all over the place, and it makes sense because if you're out in the woods or the mansion and everything like that, yeah, you only get a handful of zombies, what have you, but you're in a highly populated city that's been infected. That right there is something amazing, but it's also kind of a great thing for a lot of people to experience because the game doesn't tell you how to play. You're just thrusted right into the action that is Resident Evil 2. You have no time to like figure out, oh, how do I run? Wait, how do I check my weapons? How do I shoot? What do I do? Which way did I go? Am I gonna run out of ammo? Because that was how Resident Evil 2 began. There were zombies all over the streets, even in Kendo's gun shop at one point. You were screwed if you didn't actually check around the place and get the ammo. You had to go through the alleyways, you had to go through a bus, all to get to the RPD station. And it got your heart pumping. It really got you going and wanting to see how to get to where you needed to go to be safety, just to feel safe. And that was what was kind of amazing about this, you know, is the fact that you had that fear right off the bat. It wasn't like a slowly creeping fear that Resident Evil 1 installed. This one was just right there. Like I said, Resident Evil had 1 zombie at the beginning, and that was enough for my 9-year-old self to get freaked out about. But by the time I was 11 and Resident Evil 2 rolled around, I still got freaked the fuck out. It was really incredible. Like, I really did get freaked out by Resident Evil 2 a lot, even more than the original game, I think. And honestly, it's just amazing to see, like, you know, like, you see it now and everything. It's just like, oh, it's not that scary. But back then, that's what we had. And it was scary. And you get to the police station, and you think all is well. And then you're wrong. The Licker is one of the most iconic creatures in Resident Evil history. It has been in other games, it has made its way into the history of Resident Evil, and people love it. They love fighting it. They love that first scene where it's on the ceiling and you're freaked out and you're just like, what the hell is this thing? And it just flips itself down and you gotta kill that thing quick. Now, again, Lickers, I think they're a little bit more deadlier than the Hunters because the Hunters are easier to hit. Lickers, you gotta aim down, hope you hit them right, hope you shoot them right and everything. And that was kind of what was interesting. It kind of put more fear into you. That's what Resident Evil 2 kind of did. It installed more fear in you than it already did in the original. I mean, again, Hunters are right there. You could easily shoot them and take them out from across the room. But Lickers had the tongue. They could, like, just slice you from a distance. Or they could, like, get off their legs and, like, come out and just slice you. And that's what was deadly. There was many options that they had to take you out. So it either was you take them out, or you leave the room and don't go back that way unless you have to. which with Resident Evil, a lot of backtracking is a thing. So yeah, Resident Evil 2 also gave us some of the series' most popular characters to date, whether they be the main characters or side characters. The fan favorite Claire Redfield, the little sister of Resident Evil 1 protagonist Chris Redfield, Resident Evil poster boy rookie cop Leon Kennedy, who arrived during Raccoon City at the outbreak, his first day as a cop, the mysterious lady in red, Ada Wong, and the young Sherry Birkin, who somehow made it from her house to the RPD and not get killed. And if you watch the Dark Side Chronicles or listen to the Dark Side Chronicles audio tapes that they have that you can unlock, or you can go on YouTube and do it, you'll hear Annette calling Sherry and telling her to get to the police station, calling her and everything, and it was creepy. It was really well acted, and it's just kind of amazing that she made it all the way to the station by herself as a child. It's kind of an amazing thing. But aside from those main characters, we got a plethora of memorable characters, whether it be Marvin, the Chief, William Birkin, Mr. X, plant creatures, the lickers that didn't have the tongue with the hooked blades on their hands. There were a lot of enemies and characters that really did fit this game very well. You didn't feel that any of them were out of place. They just, when they appeared on screen, you got freaked out, you did what you could to take them down. And that was what was really awesome about this game. Resident Evil 2 also gives us not only incredible characters, monsters, but memorable locations. While in Resident Evil 1 you were on the mansion and everything, the game, you know, they developed the mansion the best they could, I guess, but I felt that there wasn't a lot on the, there wasn't a lot of details to the walls, there wasn't a lot of details to anything else really at times. The labs, the Shark Tank area, a lot of it just felt empty. Still creepy, mind you, still creepy, but this game has like pictures on the walls, and there's damage to the areas and everything. You have the sewer system that has claw marks on the walls, there's blood and bullet holes everywhere from Hunk's men. There is honestly a lot to this game graphically, and you know, for your eyes to take in. There's just a destroyed city, a police station with boards on the windows and everything to keep everything from coming in, chairs flipped upside down, glass everywhere, broken cars, it had everything. There was so much to this game that it was really a lot to take in when you played this, and it really helped sell the deal that this was a legit feeling. The fear was all around because you see these broken windows and boards, and you're just like, man, am I safe in here? Is something going to come through again or whatever tore this place up? It was stuff like that that really installed the fear in you. Plus, guys like Mr. X busting through the wall like the Kool-Aid guy and everything, that also helped too. One thing I loved about this game, even though Resident Evil 2 still had the same solo-type campaign as Resident Evil 1, the characters here felt more connected. The voice acting had improved in this game over the original, and I felt that when the characters teamed up with their respective person from their story, I feel that that worked for them very well, because they were around a lot more than just like a few seconds for a cutscene or anything like that. They stood with you through various different things, and then you had to go find them, you had to go help them, you got to play as those characters for a little bit, whereas in the original game you never got to play as Barry, but you did get to play as Rebecca. In this one you do play as both Sherry and Ada for a little bit, although it's somewhat pretty much the same area almost, and about the same length of time, not much to it. Still a little fun thing for them to do, though, for the fans. I really did enjoy that. Plus, with Scenario A and B, that's great. Now, the original one, obviously, there was like the hard mode and everything, and a range mode later on that they added, but when you really think about it, Scenario A and Scenario B, those things were a lot fun, because you got to go through all these awesome areas again in a different way, or some areas that you never saw before. So it really did add a strong replay value to the game, because this game does have unlockables, and in later ports of the games there are things to unlock as well. So it kind of just kept making the game more fun to play, knowing there was other things added to it, or things that were hidden that you needed to find and do. Again, speedrunning this game is always a blast. Personally, I prefer to speedrun Resident Evil 3, but this is also a game that's good and fun to speedrun, and it adds just a lot of fun to doing it. Fans for years have been putting Resident Evil 2 high on a pedestal, and I can understand why. The game took everything about the original, like I said earlier, and improved upon it. The fans' love for the game only grew more as time went on, and when Capcom made a sequel, or I should say a reboot, a remake to the original Resident Evil for the GameCube, fans had asked, that's awesome, when are we getting Resident Evil 2 next? Again, I can understand why people wanted it, and I can understand why they didn't do it back then, because Resident Evil 1 and 0 did not sell as well as they should have, because back then on the game, nobody had a GameCube that much back in the day. I did. You know that I did when I found out there was a Resident Evil game coming to it. But that was the thing. We're finally getting that now. Capcom realizes, hey, we need this. This is awesome. So, you know, we've had ports and everything of this Resident Evil 2. Let's give it the remake treatment. Because the ports were great. Playing it on the GameCube, playing it on the Dreamcast, and the N64, which is my personal favorite version to play on, fantastic. Plus, you took the N64, you took that game for the PlayStation, put it on an N64 cartridge. 2 CDs on 1 cartridge. That's pretty amazing in itself right there. Granted, the compressed video didn't look that great at times, but still. You got to change the color of the blood. You could easily input codes for, like, unlimited ammo and stuff. It was great. It was an awesome little port, and I'm very lucky to own 3 copies of Resident Evil 2. I have a collecting problem, as you can tell behind me. The praise this game got generated from the hype and the money that Capcom put into it, and they put towards their advertisement. The advertisement alone for these games was incredible, and it pretty much made it so we got amazing merchandise. I do have a lot of Resident Evil 2 stuff that's merchandise and everything. I got some Resident Evil 3 stuff, some Resident Evil Remake stuff, but honestly, 2 really helped push a lot of stuff. I mean, hell, we ended up getting movies out of this because I think of Resident Evil 2, honestly. Not those movies. I mean, they did happen. They did happen, but I'm talking about the CGI movies. And because of 2's popularity, Leon and Claire were the stars of the first one. Granted, Claire did kind of take a back seat, and Leon was kind of a dick in that movie more than he ended up becoming later on, but you know, that's not how his character was written, because you're hot off of the success of Resident Evil 4, and in this movie, he's a complete dick. So, I can understand. I love the movie. Damnation, I thought, was a great movie as well, where Leon and Ada teamed up again. That movie was fantastic. I really did enjoy that for what it was. So, that movie right there was really good, and I didn't think they could get any better, because the graphics in that movie improved over the original one, which came out in, like, 2007. And then Vendetta came out, and you had Chris and Leon and Rebecca in it, and I got to see that in the movie theater, so that was really amazing for me. It was truly an awesome deal, and I think that because of the success that Resident Evil 2 had made, whether it's games, whether it's sales, whether it's characters, its fandom, and the love for the characters, that also helps to make those movies. I mean, and let's not forget, too, the cosplay community. The cosplay community, to me, I am very involved in the Resident Evil community itself, and especially for cosplayers, being a photographer, and I have gotten to meet some amazing cosplayers who owe a lot to Resident Evil 2 for giving them the characters that they love cosplaying, tweaking a little bit, adding their own thing to it, doing all the outfits possible for those characters. These people put in 110% when they work on them, and I'm glad to have met a lot of them from Argentina, Mexico, France, England, Italy, and here in America. There are tons of them here, and it's amazing to see the love and the dedication that a lot of these people put into the outfits, because honestly, when it comes to Resident Evil cosplays and the ones that I've done, people really go the distance to do this, to pay homage and respect to the franchise that they love, especially the game that they love. What else can be said about Resident Evil 2? It's a game that everybody ranks so high on a rating scale, it pretty much is flawless. It really is. Like, I don't find any fault with this game at all, really. Granted, obviously, it has not aged well, but during the year that it came out, show me a game from 1998 that really has aged well from the N64 or PS1 era, or even Sega Saturn. Except fighting games. Fighting games looked great on the Sega Saturn back in the day, in the 90s. But again, I owe a lot to Capcom, the producers, the director, everybody, the developers, everybody involved in the project did an amazing job. And it just gets me more hyped up for the Resident Evil 2 remake. And honestly, I think it's something that it's gonna make us all happy. Because right now, Capcom, if any of you guys are watching, we're drowning. We are drowning for news right now. I mean, or we're dying of thirst. Like, we're foaming at the mouths, there's nothing left. You gotta give us something. By the time this video goes up, it will be the 20th anniversary of that day for Resident Evil 2, so hopefully we get some news along with this video, because that would be awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, thumbs up the video, because it's free, and in this day and age, free's a damn good thing. I also want to give a special shout out to Shirrako over at YouTube for lending us his footage from Resident Evil 2. You can go over and check out all the 4K goodness of that channel. Again, thanks a lot, pal, for letting us use the footage. Greatly appreciate it. It cut down time to make this video. We owe you. Thank you so much. Also, the Residents of Evil has a Patreon. If you want exclusive access to the offers that we give, please head on over, check out what we can give you. If you become a Patreon, there's so many different tiers to join and things to unlock. And you might even end up playing 7 Days to Die with me and the rest of the ROE gang. And let me tell you something, that game is fun, especially with the group that we've got going now. Thank you everybody for joining that as well. Also, if you want to subscribe to my personal channel, New to Retro Reviews, where I cover gaming news, video game reviews, anything and all, put some Let's Plays up, I try to do what I can. Please, head on over there because it is also free. You can subscribe and, well, free's a damn good thing, right? As always, everybody, thank you for the support. My name's Tony, and I will see you back here at the Residence of Evil.